soft but tense voice, pulling the audience in. Imagine losing the love of your life in a tragic car accident, only to discover, at the funeral, that he wasn't the man you thought he was. Imagine grieving not just for a husband, but for the truth of your marriage. That's what happened to me, a 46-year-old mother of two teenage girls. But what came next? The betrayal, the manipulation, the public humiliation. That's when I decided if they wanted war, I'd give them war. Slow, emotional pacing, letting the pain show. I was already living through a nightmare. My ex-husband, the father of my daughters, ages 17 and 15, died suddenly in a car accident. That tragedy alone was enough to break us. But the truth was worse than the accident. He died living a double life. Secret mistress. 2 sons he fathered outside our marriage. And when the car crash claimed him, it claimed her too, leaving those boys orphaned. But here's the cruelest twist of fate. My daughters were the ones who uncovered his betrayal. They found the messages, the photos. They were the ones who told me. My children had to bear the weight of their father's lies. And instead of sympathy, instead of compassion, his parents, my ex-in-laws, turned their grief into rage against us. They decided my daughters were villains. They wanted custody. They demanded to move into my home. When I refused, they started a smear campaign. One Saturday, I took my girls to the farmer's market. My youngest had just turned 15. She was glowing, laughing, holding some cash I gave her to buy treats. For an hour, she disappeared into the stalls, exploring happily. But my mom instincts went off. Too much time had passed. Then my phone rang. It was her. Her voice was trembling, broken. "Mom, I don't know what to do. These women, they're yelling at me." I froze. My blood ran cold. I grabbed my eldest and ran. And there she was, my baby girl, surrounded. 6 older women, like a pack of wolves. They circled her, pointing fingers, hurling accusations. "Unchristian," they sneered. "Bad granddaughter, ungrateful. You should be supporting your grandparents. You should be a good big sister to your orphan brothers." My daughter, just 15, stood frozen in tears. That was it. I snapped. I stormed forward, shoved myself between them and my daughter, and, with fury shaking my voice, told my eldest, "Take your sister, pay for the things, go to the car." Then I turned on the women. Every ounce of grief and anger that had been festering inside me exploded. I told them nitrogen monoxide, right? No authority. My daughters had suffered enough. They had lost their father, uncovered his betrayal, and they did not need a pack of judgmental church women tearing them apart. But they didn't back down. One woman sneered, "You should be obeying your ex-in-laws like a good Christian wife." Christian wife? My husband was dead. And faithful. He hadn't been faithful when alive. The fight escalated. Security intervened. They escorted us out. But the women, they followed us like vultures. That night, when my daughters finally slept, I broke down. The unfairness was suffocating. But then my phone buzzed. A message that changed everything. Act 3. The breaking point. The lies exposed. 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, a friend from that same church reached out. He apologized. Then he told me the truth. My ex-mother-in-law had written a massive sob story in the church's Facebook group. She painted herself and her husband as victims, according to her. My daughters and I had abandoned them, left them homeless, penniless, heartbroken. She claimed we'd stolen their grandsons. And the worst part, she twisted my ex's affair into a fairy tale. She told people the mistress was our surrogate, that I had rejected the children because they were boys. Boys I supposedly never wanted. It was disgusting. A lie so twisted it could only survive in the shadows. But here's the thing about shadows. They can't survive the light. And my ex-MIL's biggest mistake, she couldn't admit the truth because their church despised cheating. So she spun her lies. What she didn't know is that I had all the proof. The texts, the emails, the photos, the cruel messages they'd sent my daughters after the funeral blaming them for their father's death. That night, as I sat at my desk staring at the folder, I made a choice. You want a holy war? Fine, let's go. The next morning, I went to a print shop and I worked for hours. I printed everything. High-resolution photos of my ex and his mistress, screenshots of their love messages, emails showing his parents supporting the affair, proof of their harassment. I didn't just print, I curated. I made binders, neat, crisp, professional, and I disguised them. Each binder looked like a hymnal packet. Nothing suspicious. On the cover, nothing alarming. But page 1, a photo of my ex and his mistress kissing in my living room. Underneath, the caption, the love story of ex's name and mistress's name. That Sunday, I walked into church. No one batted an eye as I placed the binders neatly on the back desk with the hymnals. And then I walked out, and I waited. By noon, the gossip mill exploded. The Facebook group turned into a battlefield. Screenshots everywhere. The truth no longer hidden. It was in glossy, undeniable detail. The insults brutal. People shredded my ex, his mistress, and especially his parents. The pastor himself had to intervene to keep the language PG. My ex-in-laws, their reign of manipulation was over. The very people who praised them as victims turned on them like wolves. The best part, those same women who harassed my daughter at the market, those same 6 hand-wrote apology letters, delivered them to my door. They even invited us to return to the church for support. As for my ex-in-laws, they were shamed out of the community. My ex-mother-in-law tried one last round online crying about being abandoned and disrespected. She wrote, "If only my great son were alive, he would have cared for us." Double quotes, really. The same son who cheated, lied, and lived off my income. Now, thank you. Slower, calmer voice, my daughters. They finally had peace. No more lies. No more harassment. Just truth. And truth is powerful. Sometimes revenge isn't about screaming louder. It's about shining a light so bright that lies have nowhere left to hide. So, what do you think? Was I justified? Or did I go too far? If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button. It helps more people find us. Subscribe for more unbelievable revenge stories. And don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss an update.